In this lesson, we're going to show you how you can push your Power BI data into SharePoint using Power Automate. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a Power BI table. So you can see I have some data right here. If I go to the Data tab or Table View, you can see that it has part number, item, description, and quantity. So go back to the report view. I'm going to create a table and add those columns in this table. Select the data. Let's choose part number, item, description, and quantity. I'm going to change this to don't summarize. All right, so we have our Power BI table. Now we need to publish this. So I'm going to hit publish. I'm already signed in. I'm going to hit publish. Call it computer equipment. Put it on my desktop. Hold on a second. Oh, can you hear me? Yeah. All right. Okay. So we have our data. We published it to our Power BI workspace. So remember, our report has to be in a workspace. We just published in there. Now we are going to get the information from this table. It's going to be in a DAX query. So we need to make sure our DAX query view is turned on. So you can see, let me publish it. You can see that our DAX query view is turned on. We'll go to it. This is what it looks like. So we have it turned on. If you don't have it turned on, you need to go to the settings and turn it on. But if you have earlier versions or latest version, by default, it'll already be turned on. All right, so it's turned on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the DAX query from this. All right, so to get the DAX query from this Power BI table, we can go to the Optimize tab, go to Performance Analyzer. I'm going to press Start Recording. It's going to scan all of our visuals. We only have one. You see it has table. I'm going to click the plus sign next to table. And I'm going to click where it says Run in DAX Query View. All right, once I did that, it takes you straight into the DAX Query View. And this is the DAX query that builds that table in Power BI. You can see the results right here. It has the same column names. So all we have to do is just copy the actual query itself right here at the top. I'm going to put it on my clipboard. So Control C to copy. And now we have a copy of our DAX query. All right, so now once we have our query, we can create our Power Automate flow. So I'm going to create a Power Automate visual right here. It's going to turn into a button once we create our flow. I'm going to click on the three dots here. It says more options. And we'll go to edit. And it's going to take us into this window where we can create our flow. So I'm going to go to Instant Cloud Flow. All right, so the trigger is the Power BI button click. Okay. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is type in Power BI. Go to the action that says run a query against a data set. All right, it's asking for a workspace. It's in my workspace. And we're looking for the report. So our report is called computer equipment. And right here it says query text. So we can just paste our DAX query that we got right here. All right, it's that simple. So you need a workspace, the data set, and the query text. Now I'm going to, once I have that, I'm going to create a CSV file. CSV table. I'm going to, what it says from, I'm going to use first table rows in dynamic content. I'll just leave it as automatic. And I'm going to save this flow. So I'm going to call this flow transfer Power BI data into SharePoint. I might have another flow that's called that, so I'm going to put a 2 next to it so I know this is the one we're using today. I'm going to hit save. And we can just come out of this, go back to the report. What happened? I didn't apply. I need to apply. Yeah, so I needed to apply that flow to our button. That's what I'm doing there. So now when I go back to the report, you see the Power Automate visual turned into a button. So it knows which flow to use. So all we have to do now, since we're in the desktop, is we need to press the Control key, press and hold it, and then press the button. Since it's triggering. All right, so our flow started working. It ran. Let's see the results. Go into here. There's our flow history. It ran successfully. All three actions, or this is the trigger, and then the two actions at the bottom ran successfully. So what I'm going to do here is I need to grab the JSON that produced from the CSV table. So if I click inside of here, you'll see that there's it's formatted, the data is formatted in JSON, right? So I'm just going to copy this section right here, the whole thing. Control C to copy. I'm going to hit edit. Then now I'm ready to parse the JSON. So the reason why we're using JSON and parsing it and all that, because remember, we want to send this data from Power BI to SharePoint. Right now it is in JSON, but we need to parse it so we can eventually map the columns that are in the Power BI table to the columns that are in SharePoint. All right, so that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to new step. I'm going to type in parse JSON. All right, so it's asking for the content. Again, I'm going to use first table rows. It's asking for the schema. All right, so I'm going to press this generate from sample button. It's asking me to insert a sample. Well, I got the sample from the CSV table. So I'm just going to Control V to paste it. There it is, done. And it generates the schema for us. That's all we have to do for this step. Now, I'm going to save and apply. I'm going to come out of this. All right, the one thing we haven't done yet is we need to create our SharePoint list. So let me go to SharePoint. All right, so I'm going to create a brand new SharePoint list. We can call it computer equipment. Same, keep it the same names. So report name. All right, I'm going to leave the title column alone, and I'm going to create another column. So this is going to be for the item. So I'm going to have the, we have 4 columns: part number, the item, description, and quantity. So when you map it, I'm going to put the part number in this title column. So I need description. and quantity. It's number. Right, so we have our SharePoint list created. We go back to Power BI. Hold on. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the flow, edit. There's our flow. Just gonna go to edit right here. Go to new step. So we've already parsed our JSON. Now we can find the SharePoint action that's called create item. All right, we need a site address. It's a test site. The list name is computer equipment. There it is. Now watch what happens. So you see how it was smart enough to know what our column names were in SharePoint. Now, if I click on title, see I have our data has been parsed in JSON from the previous step. So we can just simply map our columns from JSON over into SharePoint. So like I said, I'm going to put the part number in the title column. I'm going to put the item in item, description in description, quantity in quantity. All right, that's it. So I'm going to save and apply. Come out of this, apply, go back to the report. I'm going to press and hold the control key and press the button. All right, the flow is running. So let me switch over to SharePoint. All right, so we hit refresh. Our data successfully transferred over from the Power BI table into our SharePoint list.